Hey guys, welcome to Tax Tip Thursday, brought to you by Intention Enterprises. It's that time of the year, right? Every year around this time, since I've started my business, I tell business owners they need to file their annual report. And that's for nonprofits and for-profit businesses. I've seen some scary things over the last couple of years, right? I've had clients who didn't file the reports for several years, having to pay upwards of $4,000 to reinstate their entity. Why? Because you don't want to lose the time that you're registered with your state. It is imperative for doing businesses. Lenders will look at to see if you filed your annual report to make sure that you are still registered doing business in the state that you say you're doing business in. So this video, I want to spend a little time talking about what is an annual report and why is it important, right? Because I think that's what may be getting lost. Why people feel, oh, no big deal. I've been in business for a year, don't need to do it again, but you do, right? The purpose of the annual report, it updates and confirms with the Florida Department of State and Division of Corporation your records. It tells them that, yes, I am still in business. The other thing to know is that your annual report, in this case, is not a financial statement. The annual report must be filed every year for your business entity to maintain its active status. Again, this tells the state that, hey, I am still in business. It tells your customers and your vendors and business partners that, yes, I am still in business. And it's required whether or not this is the time when you can make changes, right? This is the time that if you need to add your FEIN number, you can go ahead and add it, and it doesn't cost you anything. If you need to change the partners in the business, this is the time you can add it. You can update your address. You can update your registered agent. This is the time you can do all of those things without an additional fee. If you do it other times in the year, sometimes a fee will apply, right? And this data is displayed on the entity's annual report on the website. So in Florida, people go on to sunbiz.org. We can search your name, the owner's name. They can search your company's name, and they'll see that, hey, this company is still active. The annual report, depending on if you are a for-profit, nonprofit, if you are a corporation versus an LLC, the fees are different, right? A nonprofit is something like $69 and some change. An LLC is $138, and then a corporation is $150. It just depends on what your entity structure is, will determine how much you have to pay. However, it does not change the fact that you need to file it every single year. And they don't give you an option to pay multiple years all at once. So you have to go on every single year and file it. Now, there are services that perform that for you, right? I'm sure people, if you have a business, you've received emails that say, hey, we can file your annual report for you. And yes, many of them are legitimate companies. They charge somewhere upwards of $350 to $400, depending on who the company is. But know that you, as the business owner or someone on your staff, can absolutely file this report themselves. Of course, Intention Enterprises offers the service for those of you who just don't want to think about doing it or remembering to do it. And if we arrange for Intention Enterprises to do it on a yearly basis, then you don't have to worry about it. But I want to stress the fact that, listen, a few things will happen. If you don't file the report on time, it's a $400 penalty. Who needs to pay an additional unnecessary $400 on top of already a fee that many business owners don't plan for? So if you file after May 1st, there is a $400 penalty. Now, if you file after the third the third Friday in September, the state will dissolve your entity. What does that mean? That means that you will have to reapply to have your entity reinstated, right? And that's a fee. And sometimes you can do it online. Sometimes you have to fill out the form and send it in. There's always a process. So it goes back to knowing when it needs to be filed, which is May 1st by midnight. And if you miss the deadline, being aware of the fact that there is a $400 penalty and there is no payment plan. Okay, so be prepared to pay credit card, debit card, and I believe you can pay by check if you do it early enough. But if you're late, I don't believe they'll take a check anymore. And if you fail to file, know that you can lose your entity, your organization name. You may let it lapse, and then someone else wants to use the same name. That name is now up for grabs. They can go on into sunbiz.org and start that same company name, not your company, but they can use that name to now start a business. That's the other thing your annual report will do. It will hold your name. And if you've been branded by that name, you want to make sure that it's yours, that you maintain that. You maintain your identity, your brand identity, and that is also part of what happens when you file your annual report. So I hope this gives people a little bit more information when I'm always like, make sure you file the report. Really, it's about maintaining your company viability, maintaining your company's legitimacy, and letting your vendors, your partners, your potential clients know that this entity, yes, we're here, we are legitimately recognized by the state of Florida, and we're ready to do business. And as a business owner, don't incur the unnecessary costs. Stay on top of it, set it on your calendar, same time every single year. But if you have questions, you can always reach out to Intention Enterprises, and we are happy to work with anyone who just doesn't want to think about it. That is one of the services that we provide. So, all right. I know this is a lengthy Tax Tip Thursday, but I feel like it needed a little bit more information. Anyway, thanks for listening. And if you found it helpful, remember to like, save, share, comment below, and then head on over to YouTube and follow us at Intention LLC. Bye.